Masters of Metal, the history of heavy metal. It was loud. It was dark. It was heavy as hell. Born in the factories of Britain and forged in fire and feedback, heavy metal rose from the ashes of rock and roll with a sound that shook the earth. This is the story of metal, a genre that refused to go quietly, that screamed louder, played faster, and dared to stare into the abyss. A sound, a subculture, a sanctuary for outsiders. Welcome to Masters of Metal, the history of heavy metal. Chapter 1. Black Sabbath and the Birth of Doom. Before the leather, the hair, and the headbanging, there was something darker brewing, something slower, heavier. It started in Birmingham, England, a city of steel and smoke, shaped by industry and struggle. Out of its shadowed streets came four working-class kids who would change music forever. Black Sabbath. Tony Iommi, who lost fingertips in a factory accident, down-tuned his guitar to ease the pain, and in doing so, created the crushing, sludgy sound that would become metal's heartbeat. With Ozzy Osbourne's haunting voice, Geezer Butler's apocalyptic lyrics, and Bill Ward's primal drums, Sabbath's music sounded like the end of the world. Their 1970 self-titled debut dropped like a black monolith on the rock scene. It wasn't peace and love, it was fear and fire, and it was just the beginning. Chapter 2. The new wave of British heavy metal. As the 70s ended, the torch passed to a new generation. Faster, louder, harsher. Enter the new wave of British heavy metal. NWO/BHM. Bands like Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Saxon, and Diamond Head brought speed and precision, with twin guitar attacks and galloping bass lines. They took Sabbath's doom and injected it with adrenaline. Judas Priest traded hippie bell-bottoms for leather and studs, creating the iconic metal look. Iron Maiden turned album covers into nightmares, led by the undead mascot Eddie and Bruce Dickinson's operatic battle cry. This was music for the misfits, kids who didn't fit in, who didn't want to. Metal became their badge, their armor, their church. Chapter 3. Thrash and the American Assault. Across the Atlantic, a new storm was brewing. Inspired by NWO/BHM and pissed off by Reagan-era America, four bands rose from the underground to unleash a sonic war. They called it thrash metal. Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, Anthrax, the Big Four. Fast, aggressive, technical. This was metal with punk's speed and no room for mercy. Metallica's Master of Puppets was a masterpiece of anger and precision. Slayer's Rain in Blood was pure sonic carnage. Megadeth's Dave Mustaine brought complexity and venom. Anthrax mixed East Coast grit with a sense of humor, and later hip-hop. This wasn't just music. It was rebellion in double time. Chapter 4. Hair, Glam, and the Sunset Strip. Meanwhile, on the other side of metal's face, it got sexy. On LA's Sunset Strip, bands like Mötley Crüe, Poison, and Rat lit up the night with big riffs, big hair, and bigger egos. It was decadence turned up to 11. Eyeliner, leather, pyrotechnics, and power ballads. Guns N' Roses brought danger back to the scene. Appetite for Destruction wasn't just glam. It was raw, dirty rock with a chip on its shoulder. Critics rolled their eyes, but arenas sold out. Metal was everywhere. On MTV, in malls, in bedrooms plastered with posters and dreams. Chapter 5. Grunge, collapse, and the underground then. The crash. The 90s came like a guillotine. Grunge hit, and suddenly, Seattle's flannel-clad introspection made glam metal look like a joke. But metal didn't die. It went underground. Pantera kicked down the door with groove metal, tough, raw, and real. Sepultura brought in Brazilian tribal fury. Death metal exploded in Florida. Black metal rose from frozen forests in Norway. Bleak, brutal, and often terrifying. Metal became a labyrinth of subgenres: doom, progressive, industrial, metalcore, nu metal, folk metal, Viking metal, and more, each with its own sound, its own code, its own tribe. Chapter 6: Identity, Belonging, and the Metalhead Code. Metal isn't just music. It's a brotherhood, a sisterhood, a family. The long hair, the patched jackets, the circle pits, it's all part of something bigger. A global community built on noise, resistance, and love for the riff. Metal is a space for the angry, the broken, the different. Where other scenes push you out, metal pulls you in. And whether you worship Sabbath, Slayer, Slipknot, or Spirit Box, you belong. Chapter 7: Legacy of Loud, Metal in the Modern Age. Today, metal's alive in every corner of the world. In Japan, baby metal blends kawaii with crushing riffs. In Sweden, Opeth writes 10-minute epics. In Africa, metalheads gather in Lagos, Nairobi, and Cape Town. Gojira, Lorna Shore, Power Trip, Ginger. The sound keeps evolving. Metal isn't just surviving, it's thriving. Festivals like Wacken, Hellfest, and Download draw hundreds of thousands. New generations keep moshing, shredding, and screaming into the void. Because metal is more than just a genre. It's a force. Closing: the eternal riff. Heavy metal wasn't built to be polite. It was built to roar. It came from the factories of Birmingham and spread like wildfire, across continents, through decades, against the grain. And while trends fade, metal remains. In every solo, in every scream, in every defiant voice saying, "We are loud, we are proud, we are metal." Because metal never dies. It just gets louder.